you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Christiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering all things theater. And I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in Wainscott, where I have a very special guest, my friend, Christina Strassfield, the museum director of Guildhall and the chief curator. And she's come to talk to us about the current Robert Longo exhibit that she's just installed there. Thank you, Christina. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and we go back a long way, so it's wonderful to have the opportunity to touch base with one another and really just get to spend some time together.
Well, the exhibition is fantastic. Oh my God, it just blew me away. And I've been sending people whenever I have a chance, go see this, because you will not believe your eyes.
You will not believe your eyes. It's really a wonderful exhibition, and Robert Longo is a tremendous artist, you know. Last year, we were supposed to do this show in 2020, and what happened was when COVID came into place, Robert said, this is not the time to do a one-person show. It just really didn't feel right, and he knew that Guildhall needed to do a fundraiser, which is always associated with our August exhibition. And so he said, why don't we do a fundraiser? So last summer, we did All for the Hall, where he called up a whole bunch of his friends who were artists, and they all donated artwork, and it was a huge success and really helped us out tremendously during that time. So we were delighted to, again, this summer, have his exhibition that had been planned for 2020 and have it come to fruition, because it really, he's a very special person, and the art is very, very special. The exhibition is in two parts. It's called History of the Present, and there's two sections to it. One is called Gang of Cosmos, and the other one is Agency of Faith. And Gang of Cosmos is kind of interesting.
Can I interrupt you just
Sure.
1 second? I just want to comment on what he did, that All for the Hall, before we get into talking about his work, because I think it underlines so much about who that man is, and let's really accentuate what that really did for Guildhall, because all those artists gave their work
Absolutely.
to Guildhall
To Guildhall.
to sell.
That's right. He contacted 60 artists who were his friends, and
Who are
asked
all
them-
well-known,
all
fabulous
well-known,
artists.
all wonderful, and he just, called them. We wrote letters, and they all immediately.
Tell us some of them. Just get in.
Chuck Close, Eric Fischel, Ross Bleckner.
Of that's the quality of the work.
Absolutely.
That he got people to give to Guildhall for that thing.
And they each gave wonderful pieces. They didn't give just a small work of art. They really came full force. And for example, Chuck Close, I remember when we contacted him, he was one of the first people to say, absolutely, I'm going to give you a print. And it was a wonderful print of himself. I wish I would have bought it now. A great opportunity. But these artists gave from their heart, and they gave because they really love Guildhall, and they felt that Guildhall was their hometown museum. And it was just
But mostly
great.
because of Robert, too.
Because of Robert,
yes.
absolutely.
I just want to make that point before we go to look at his work. I think it's a really
I'm so
interesting
glad you
aspect.
did. I'm so
But you
glad.
already made it. I just wanted to emphasize it.
No, because he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. So this show was, again...
And he's a filmmaker, too.
He's a filmmaker. We showed his Johnny Mnemonic 2 weeks ago, which is great because it was a film that he had done 25 years ago. And the film had been done in color because that's the way the studio wanted to do it. But in his mind, he always wanted it in black and white. So for the 25th anniversary, which was 2020, he had it converted to black and white. And they showed it at the Tribeca Film Festival just recently. And we were the first space to be able to have it projected inside.
Wow.
So when he saw it here at Guildhall, he was blown away. He said it really was wonderful
The
to
way
see
he
it on a
finally
large
envisioned
screen.
it, too.
Absolutely,
And that's a
absolutely.
wonderful screen you have there at Guildhall, too.
And it just resonated. The sound, it looked beautiful. It was really, really amazing. Amazing for his vision. And again, his vision is all black and white. So when you come into the show, you're going to see all the galleries are filled with black and white. Robert usually wears all black, a la Johnny Cash. But it's kind of wonderful because he has a tremendous thought process in everything that he does. He's not just going to create a picture to make a pretty picture or to create a picture just for the sense of making it. He wants it to be some sort of a statement. So the gang of
the gallery's open Wednesday through Monday. Give me the hours, 12?
12 to 5.
Every day, and free. You just go in and look at it.
Absolutely, come as many times as you want
Right.
because you want to absorb the artwork because it's so beautiful.
Let's move to some of the images.
Sure,
'cause
absolutely.
Let's start with we want to do the Robert Longo. I think there's about 12 images we have from the installation. If we could have those.
This is the Gang of Cosmos room that I was talking about. And what he's done in this room, the Gang of Cosmos, the title comes from a Walt Whitman poem where Walt Whitman was saying that we need a new group of priests and artists to move away from Europe and to have sort of an American hierarchy. And so what he did is he felt that the abstract expressionists was that group of artists that he wanted to have. The one that's on the fireplace wall is a de Kooning. The large one that's horizontal is a Pollock, and the other one is a Klein. So what he did was he took famous paintings by the abstract expressionists and translated these works into black and white. And he was sort of like a forensic.
But he also did this all in charcoal.
All in
This is
charcoal.
all in charcoal, black and white. I mean, those huge, massive pieces work. It's work on paper, is
It's
it?
work on paper, charcoal
it's
on paper.
charcoal. And the other room, they get even bigger.
They absolutely. And when you're looking at them, what's kind of interesting is that everyone swears that it's a photograph. They come into the room,
Yes.
and then until they read the label or get up close, they're so surprised. But it was almost like he was an archaeologist, Patrick. He actually went in, studied, had all these images of the works in color, and then didn't just turn them to black and white. He really studied the layers of how the artist put the paint on, and he translated that into the charcoal. So it's a labor of love to create these works, and when you're looking at them, I think that you get a chance to see the brush strokes that the artist
They're
used.
incredible. But let's keep going because we're talking a lot, and which is great.
So this is a wonderful, this is the one that's on the small wall, is a Joni Mitchell. And the piece, what's kind of wonderful when you see it, is very colorful in reality. But this is done in black and white. And he talks about when you're looking at it, she was very small. And so when she was small, she could not reach the top part of the painting. So the top part of the painting you see has a large white area, and the area towards the middle where her heart would be is full of energy and full of vibrancy, which is, I think, quite amazing. The piece on the right is after a Rothko, and it's just amazing to see that layering and layering and layering of charcoal that creates that wonderful stained version of what Rothko did in painting. So he's a master. He was able to master all of these techniques and put them together beautifully. The two small pieces are, there's the one on the left is the Nagasaki bombing, and the other one is the John F. Kennedy funeral.
They're hard to see.
And they're a little hard to see, but they are amazing. So come into the gallery.
Let's go to the next image. You have to come to the gallery to see this stuff. Oh, look at these.
These are in the Woodhouse Gallery again, so it's a very different. This was called the Agency of Faith, and in this show, he has contemporary different images that he's used. So the one on the right is an American Indian headdress, and it's from the
Which looks
Osage.
just like a photograph.
It looks exactly like a photograph. His technique of rendering the feathers and going from the white of the feather all the way to the black just blows you away. You have to get so close to realize that it is not a photograph. And he's paying homage to the American Indians because he didn't want to show the full headdress because he didn't want to appropriate the image. He wanted to just hint at it. But what he's showing you is that American sins towards some of the Native Americans because this was from the Osage Indian tribe, which was an area where the land was just terrible. And when they discovered oil on it, the government took it back. So we didn't do such great things to certain people. The other one is a field of cotton. Again, all the people who were brought over, the Africans who were brought over to work the cotton fields. But there is an element of hope. So the tree that you see at the end, there's light behind it shining through. And that's kind of a wonderful feeling. So when you're in the room, you're blown away by all the different images, but they are very exciting. And there's an energy and a positivity, I feel, to them.
I felt it. I just... And you can take the picture. Let's go to the next one. Next image. Let's do the next image. Oh wow, that was the wave. That's the one that just I still can't get it out of my head.
It is fantastic, and it's called Dirty Boy. And Robert was I think he still does surf, but he was teaching his son to surf, and he was talking about the difference between the West Coast and the East Coast. He said because the East Coast, the waves churn up all the sand, so it becomes, he calls that a dirty wave, and there's a tremendous energy to it. There's actually, he works from photographs, but there's 3 different parts of it. This one had 2 parts of a photograph and the other part that he imagined himself. When you look at that curl, there's energy, there's power, and you feel like you're going to go right through it, that you really can't. I don't surf, but I feel like I can surf right through it and get to the other end of it. Echoing that is the beautiful jellyfish that he has there. And the jellyfish, again, he talked about having this image, and when he was creating it, the head of the jellyfish was about 1/3 smaller, but when he created it in this version, he enlarged it. And again, there's a sweeping presence that just makes you like, just want to, I don't like jellyfish, but it makes you want to just swim along with the jellyfish and glide in that section. The middle one is probably the most poignant image. It's from the George Floyd different protests that were happening. And Robert actually bought the copyright of that photograph from the photographer because he thought it was just a tremendous photograph.
It's a protester walking with the American flag.
American flag, and
yeah.
the American flag is upside down,
Yes.
which is a sign showing that the country is in distress.
Right.
And it is just extremely powerful. I think you sit there and you look at it, and it's one of those images that hits you. Robert was talking about, he grew up, we grew up with black and white television, newspapers were black and white, magazines were black and white, and so all of these images are something that affect your life. We can think about images that clearly, will stay with us forever. In my mind, the 9/11 images with the plane going into the Twin Towers.
Let's have the next image.
This is actually the Krasner. This is the Krasner piece,
Krasner, okay.
which is a wonderful, because normally the piece is very pink. And again, when you're looking at it, you could really see all of the brush strokes that Lee Krasner actually did. He's even able to emulate the dripping of her painting in the charcoal. I found that amazing that he could do that. So the piece, he got permission from all of the different foundations to do this work. And I think it's a great tribute to all of these artists. This is the Pollock, and I think when you're looking at the Pollock, I think if someone doesn't tell you that it is a reproduction, you would think that it really is the real thing.
We went into the at the opening. I went to the opening, and someone said, "It looks like a Pollock to me. That's a Pollock." I mean, well, not a Pollock. It's a, what is it?
Jackson Pollock. That is a
Pollock.
Jackson Pollock.
So
Yes,
Pollock,
absolutely.
Pollock. What's the next one? I don't want to.
This is the Joan Mitchell, which is a great piece. Again, as I said to you, it's the one where the top part is left empty. And this is the de Kooning, the woman on the bicycle. And again, when you're looking at it, again, the colors, I had a group of young students in on Saturday, and I said, look at it, look at what you see. Can you really notice it? And then I showed them the reproduction in color. And again, they were talking about how you can really see so much more of the brush stroke when you have it just limited to that black and white. So it was really wonderful training when you're looking at these particular pieces to look at them in that way. As an art history student, when we were younger, all of the reproductions were in black and white, even if they were a color image.
So it brings you back.
It's kind of wonderful when you see it like that. I was like, well, yeah, that's the way we looked at things. So it shows a different time and a different era.
Is that the last image in the Longo?
I think it might be. Yes. And so we get to hear, this is the field of cotton. And I just love this piece because, again, there's a wonderful abstract quality. And again, Robert talks about himself, even though his works are representational, he talks about himself as an abstract artist. And when he's working on these particular pieces, could you imagine he's working so closely to capture that? There really is, and when you get very close like that, it is abstract. So you can understand what he's saying when you're looking at it. And this particular piece, if you don't know what it is, you have no sense of it. The card that we made for the exhibition, which was designed by Robert, has half of this piece and half of the Pollock piece, and they're side by side. And you know what? They almost blend in together at creating another abstract image. So he definitely knows what he's doing when he's creating these wonderful images together.
It's extraordinary. You'd swear they were photographs.
You swear they were photographs. There's a great energy to them. He's telling you a history.
And the power, you really have to see them in person. I mean, these are wonderful, the images, but just go in there and feel.
Absolutely.
They're open Wednesday through Monday, 12 to 5. It's free. I highly recommend it. You will have a great time. And it's on view until October 17th.
October 17th to the Hamptons International Film Festival. So come watch a movie and then come into the galleries and take a look around, because it really is something, you'll be in awe. The scale of the work, the intimacy of the work, looking at the texture and the way he's applied the charcoal will blow you away.
And now, but after that, you're going to have 90 years of retrospective of all the things from the permanent collection, and then you're having Jeff Meese in the other gallery.
Yes.
So we have a little bit of a, and that'll be on view.
Through the end of, through January 2nd.
So how quick, how much time for you to turn it around, dear?
We have about a week when works go out and then the new works come
A
in.
week, you have a week
We have
to
a
take
week,
that
take
down.
it out and bring the new work in.
You hang it, because
We hang it, we do the installation.
When you do your installations.
I'm really excited about this one, though, Patrick, because what happens is we have 2,500 works of art in our permanent collection. And you could go on our website, www.guildhall.org, and you can look at a number of the pieces by the artist's name, or you can just flip through them. We have works from the 19th century all the way to contemporary artists today. And so it's my job, which is it's quite a task, and I'm almost done with my selection of choosing 70 pieces for the works. I was originally going to pick 90, but some of the pieces that I picked are a little bit large. But they're great pieces. Pollux, we have Jane Wilson, we have Jane Freilich, we have Eric Fischel. Wonderful things that really run the gamut of what we have. We have prints, we have drawings, we have photographs, we have other works on papers. So we're going to have a little bit of everything, and I think everyone will be intrigued to see what's in the collection, because we haven't had a chance to show a large spread of the permanent collection like that in quite a while. So I'm thrilled about that.
Well, 90 years, Guildhall is celebrating 90 years as a cultural influence on this area.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. So we have, now you sent along some images.
Yes.
Now, from the permanent collection. I forgot, I remember. Refresh me by showing us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
So this is the wonderful Lee Krasner. This is an early work, and it's part of what we call her little image paintings. She actually did that painting in the upstairs bedroom. If you go to the Pollock Krasner house, that's one of the small pieces that she did there. And when I show this image to so many people, they're like, oh, that's Pollock. So you can see that close relationship that she had. And this piece, I believe, was done really early on, and shows that she may have influenced him. And there's the couple.
Oh my God! Take it down for a second. I just want to talk to you about something real quick. Can we just take the picture down for a second? Because did you read Ruth? Have you read Ruth's book?
Of course, yes.
Ruth Appelhoff wrote a book on Lee Krasner.
Yes,
and
she did.
She did several segments, and I see that image, and
Of course, it's very
it was
special.
An image we showed several times when she came on the show, and then we always wanted to show that image.
Yeah.
So it made me think about her, and I just wanted to talk about her for a
Absolutely.
moment, because they're gonna they're spreading her ashes this week.
Yes, and they are.
I just want to pay tribute to Ruth.
Absolutely.
Let's
And
get back.
I'm looking forward to her family's going to be coming to visit the museum, and I'm going to just give them a tour of the show and walk them around. So definitely time to pay tribute. So that's very nice.
I loved her very much. Let's get back up. I couldn't just.
No, I think that's very
I saw
It's
this
wonderful.
image every time you
This
see it.
image is by Hans Namath and is showing Pollock with Krasner in the studio. And of course, when you go to the studio today, you'll see that anchor is still on the wall there. And I just love when you go to the Pollock Krasner house, because you really feel like you're walking into history, and you really I feel like you feel their presence there, especially when you walk on the studio floor. Blows you away. But I love the moody character, sort of the James Dean quality of Jackson Pollock, and I think the defiant quality of Lee Krasner in that picture, the way she's looking at us. So I really like it.
Yeah, she was a bit defiant, wasn't she?
This is a wonderful piece by David Sally, and it's called High and Low. And David actually donated this to Guildhall for our 75th anniversary, which is kind of wonderful. And so we're really thrilled that we're going to be able to show this one again. It's a large piece, and this piece has been in our traveling show. It's about 4 feet wide by 6 feet tall. So it's a great piece. And again, sort of David, who always puts various images, putting them together.
It's so much fun.
It's really wonderful.
It's so much fun.
Really wonderful. Very talented.
Its title is very appropriate.
And I think you can guess who did this one. You can't go anywhere without Andy Warhol's Marilyn Monroe, probably one of the most famous, besides the Mona Lisa, probably one of the most famous pieces of art, that iconic image, seen over and over again in various variations. And we're very proud of ours as well, so we're thrilled.
How big is it?
This one is about 36 by 36. It's a nice piece. It's a really nice piece.
That's just a taste. Oh, we have.
A few more. This is Child Hassan,
we had this.
and this is a little old cottage, Egypt Lane. Again, as I said to you, we have works from the 19th century all the way to the 20th. And I think that Child Hassan was just an extraordinary artist, capturing the quality and the essence of what old East Hampton was. And when you walk by some of the streets, you'll see houses that really have not changed that much and really capture that quality and that character.
Uh-huh. Are there more images?
Chuck Close. So I put this one in. This is a Chuck Close paper piece, which is handmade paper, of the artist Philip Glass. And Philip Glass performed at Guildhall a few years ago, two years ago, I think the summer before, in 2019, he performed at Guildhall. And again, Philip Glass was an image that Chuck Close used over and over again. He did his own self-portrait, but he did a number of portraits of Philip Glass. So again, paying tribute to a fellow artist in and of itself.
Let's move through these rather quickly, only because we have about 5 minutes, and I think we have more than I thought we had.
That's de Kooning, Willem de Kooning, a wonderful piece again that we're thrilled to have. Totally abstract in this one.
Okay.
And there's Jackson Pollock again, which is really wonderful. And this is
all these are going to be in the exhibit.
All of these are going to be in the show.
Already selected,
These
and you're
are
still
all
picking
selected.
more.
Yes, and I'm still picking more.
Okay.
Absolutely. And this one is from 51.
Oh, this
and this
is
is one of my favorite paintings.
Your assistant told me, I love this. She told me it was your favorite too.
It's my favorite painting. It's funny, when I first came to Guildhall, this is Jane Wilson, and it's Watermill Fog. And I just felt like the first time I saw it, I was like, it really captured a feeling and a moment. And I live in Watermill, and there's a barn behind my house. And sort of, I feel that she was able to capture the whole atmospheric quality. And she was a lovely artist. I really loved her. And just my favorite piece of the collection.
You and I gravitate to that kind of feel. We have more?
Larry Rivers, Summer Pregnancy, which is kind of wonderful. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, again, wonderful eclectic work showing both art, husband and wife, her stomach bearing out, the psychedelic colors, showing its time and place, which are wonderful. Miriam Shapiro, a wonderful collage piece, one of the leaders of the feminist art movement.
Okay, we have about, let's stop with the images just right now. Okay, only because somehow we had edited them down and they have all of them instead.
Okay.
And I only was prepared to show 4 of those, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about Jeff. Mies is coming in.
Yes.
What you could enlighten us a little bit
Well,
about him, because we
Jeff
have
is
about 3 minutes
absolutely.
now. So.
Jeff is a wonderful artist, and his show is called The Uncanny Valley, and he was the winner of the 2018 Members Exhibition, and he was chosen by Connie Choi, and she was the associate curator for the Studio Museum in Harlem. So as you know, every year when we have the Members Show, we get a Top Honors Award winner, and Jeff was the winner, and he won with a piece of sculpture, which is fantastic. He works in cement, and he manipulates the cement while it's wet in the form, and creates these fantastic sculptures, something that's really, really unusual. So I'm really thrilled because I've known Jeff for about 31 years. When I was an associate curator, he was running a little gallery at one time, and he found my signature in the book from 1990.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh my gosh, how really, really funny. But he's so talented. He can do painting. He's a sculptor. He can do furniture. Really sort of a Renaissance artist.
So we're going to have
doing
a little bit of
everything.
all of that?
We are going to have some of the sculpture and the painting. We're not going to have any of the furniture, but the work is quite exciting. Some of it has representational forms, some is totally abstract, but his work and the manipulation of cement, which is a medium that you don't normally see artists work with, but so innovative, is going to really jar people, and jar people in a good way.
I don't know what they have, because we had 2 or 3 images, but just give us a couple of the images of Jeff Mies, and just 1 or 2 before we go off the air, and she can talk about them, and then we'll.
Okay, this is wonderful. So again, what he did was he uses real objects and incorporates them in. So this is a lady's corset, and then what you see around it is the cement. So he's put the corset around the cement and created the form of a female form, which again is exotic, it's sensual. There's just so much going on to it, and each time you look at it, brings something else to mind. I think there's a few more.
Yeah, well, that's what.
This is one of his paintings, again, with the abstract paintings. He's done a variety of things. He's done some beautiful representational paintings of sunsets and seascapes, but this is a new area that he's going into, which I love because I think there's a freedom and an energy to his movement and his use of the brushstroke. This is a piece which is similar to the one that he won with, which again is a female form, and he has sort of the S&M cords that are used, and the way the S&M cords go around the cement, the bulbous, what looks like a bulbous body underneath it, I think just worked perfectly. And so this was the winning piece that was in that he was selected from.
That's good.
And
That's
we're
good.
really
That's good
thrilled.
for the images. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Christina. We have about 45 seconds, so it's going to be on. It will be up when?
It'll open on October 30th,
October
and
30th.
3 to 5 will be the reception. So please come by to meet the artists and other artists who are in the permanent collection show. And it's going to be up until January 2nd. So we really
I can't wait to
encourage
see
everyone to see it.
But get over there and see Robert Longo before it comes down. It's there till October 17th. You have plenty of time to see it. It's just fabulous. Thank you so much, Christina. I always love to
Thank
see
you. Oh, it's always such a pleasure to spend some time together. It really
Yes.
is.
I wish I